Hello.
Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, great, great.
that was weird. A messenger. I didn't realize I had to turn it on.
Well, we're live right now, so let me do the opening
Oh, we're
sequence.
live!
We're live right now. All right, let's just. Okay, we're gonna just start from the beginning. All right, let's do the opening.
You are listening to Breakfast with Tyffanie with your host, Tyffanie Morgan.
That's right, sweepies. It's me, Miss Tyffanie Morgan. Well, hello there, my little sweepies and my little love muffins from all around the big blue world. This is your hostess, Miss Tyffanie Morgan, calling to you live from Kingston, Ontario, Canada, the home of limestone and the home to me, Miss Tyffanie Morgan, and it's also the homeland of my guest who's on the phone right now, Miss Jas Morgan.
Good morning, my darling.
Good morning, good morning. So we just had a little hiccup with technology, but hey, we got that working. We got it working.
We got it working. We got it done. Women on the move. We got it done.
Women on the move. Hey. I'm just trying to think of some song, and I can't even think of any song right now. I'm thinking Annie Lennox and Aretha Franklin or whatever it was. Sisters are doing it
work.
for
Doing it
themselves.
for themselves. Let's not sing. That won't be good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for.
Well, congratulations on your sweet little show here. It's been fun watching every week and seeing you progress and move along.
Oh, well, thank you. So, for those who are listening in right now, so Jas Morgan is what I call my drag mother. You got me started in drag here in Kingston, just last year, right?
Yeah, a couple years ago now.
A couple years ago
Couple years
now.
ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been
You and
20.
many more. You and many more.
So thank you so much for dialing in and connecting with us. So you're in what is it? Modified Stage 2 zone here in Ontario?
Yeah, so we're in Toronto. So we were supposed to, everything should have ended this Saturday, I guess. And now they've extended it for another month. So December 12th, my birthday, is actually when it will end again. I'm sure they'll reinstate it. I'm pretty sure Toronto's going to be locked down for the winter. We can't get our shit together here for some reason.
Can't get your stuff together, exactly.
No. Stuff, sorry. Whoops.
Yeah, I think they can forgive us for randoms.
There you go.
But yeah, we're on CFRC 101.9 FM here in Kingston. So thank you CFRC for hosting us here. And it's currently a CFRC funding drive as well. So go to cfrc.ca if you're inclined to give us a donation so we can stay on the airs, stay on the radio waves here with you. But yeah, so we're pretty lucky here in Kingston. We're not in that modified stage 2. I'm kind of grateful for that myself. But how has that been for you? Like running a business and everything like that too. We can talk a little bit more about that.
So luckily, I mean, I work from home, so I'm pretty lucky that way. And so it hasn't I mean, I guess it has affected me to some extent. Of course, people are spending less money. People have less money to spend. So it certainly has affected me that way, but we're still doing okay. Um, so, yeah, I mean, but for me, it's been like lockdown for 9 months now. Like I haven't, other than grocery shopping or a doctor's appointment, I don't leave the house. So no friends have been over. I haven't went out to friends' places. So it's been a long 9 months, and it's going to be a few more. But we all got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's not just about ourselves, about us
No,
staying
no.
safe. It's about others staying safe too. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
so yeah. So
And I
thank you.
and I live in a building that I live in a co-op actually, right downtown Toronto. So I mean, we have quite a few people that need to be protected. So the building's been doing really well, and people have been, sticking to their own and reaching out if they need help, and so it's worked out really well. But yeah, it's important to keep everyone safe.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for doing your part.
Do what we got to do.
So, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? Like I said, you're my drag mother. So, if you can tell us a little bit about your career in drag and stuff like that.
So I started. I was trying to think. I guess it would have been late '80s, like '88 maybe in Kingston. So it kind of all started as a joke and an argument actually. So there was a lesbian woman who a conversation came up around drag, and she was quite adamant that drag queens were evil and should all be destroyed, and it was, not flattering to women, it was degrading to women, and it started this whole debate. And I really didn't see it that way. I kind of seen it more of, if you're imitating a woman and you're doing it respectfully, then I think it's kind of flattery, right? Like you're trying to create this illusion. So from there, I don't know, it just kind of ticked me off, and I decided that, well, that was it. I was going to be a drag queen, and I was going to put a show together. So we put our first show together, which was actually at the office, which was located above the plaza back then. And we ended up having 22 people in the first show, 22 queens. So a lot of people jumped on board and decided they were going to be drag queens too, and that's kind of where it started. And then from there, eventually Robert's Club Vogue had opened, and I had a weekly show there every Friday night. So that ran for a long time. And yeah, it just kind of, Kingston was interesting back then. It was very easy. I mean, I was mostly, some others. Yeah, like we attracted a lot of Queen students at that time, so they would fill the bar up and watch the shows and then head out to their clubs after the show was over. But I was pretty lucky. I was accepted in all of the main bars, like all of the straight clubs in Kingston at that time, AJ Stages, the Trash Cherry, all of those. So I frequented them quite a bit in drag. Yeah, so we never really had issues, which was wonderful. So from there, as time went on, we continued shows in Kingston. We worked in Kingston, we worked in Ottawa. We would come to Toronto. Chris Edwards, famous Chris Edwards here in Toronto, was a very, very close friend of mine. So we participated with her. She came to Kingston quite a bit as well. And then we decided that at one point we were going to try and join the court system, the official court system for Canada. And I don't know, that kind of fell through. I'm not sure really what happened there. But we did start our own Miss Gay Kingston. And so I was the first Miss Gay Kingston, and then Claudette Meaner, I believe, was the second. And then Greg Loftus, who was a big AIDS activist, was also my partner. He became the third. So yeah, drag shows continued, and we worked really hard, raised a lot of money for community. And then from there, I guess Greg had passed away, and I kind of sort of stopped doing drag, and then figured out, I guess I'm a real woman and a trans woman at that. So went on my journey to transition, and at that time I moved to Toronto. And then in Toronto, because of Chris Edwards being a close friend of mine, she was starting a trans show at a bar called Play. So she asked me to co-host with her there. So it was supposed to be one night a week, and ended up being 3 nights a week. And that ran for 8 years, and we had a fantastic time together. And so yeah, she eventually had moved on from play, and I stayed for another year or so, and then moved on myself. And by then, transition was kind of over for me, so I just kind of stopped doing drag. So now it's kind of, you know, when I'm in Kingston, I pop in and do something with you, but that's about it now.
Yes, my infamous 40th birthday, you came out of retirement.
I did, yeah.
And then you shared with me some soaps and some stuff, and you were like, this is what I'm going to start doing. And lo and
I
behold,
did. Yeah. So, I mean, I've always worked in the beauty industry. So I was a hairstylist for years and years, and then I became an esthetician, and then I became a nail technician, and then I went and taught at Marvell Beauty Schools in Kingston. So I taught there for a number of years. So it's always been sort of that's been my background. Um, so during my transition, after transition, I had actually went back to school and became a funeral director, and then decided, yeah, that wasn't for me. So now I find myself back in the beauty industry again, where I started my own company with my own skincare line and soaps and bath products, etc. And so, yeah, it's been fun. We're really enjoying that and having a good time with it.
yep, jasmorgan.ca, Jas.
JasMorgan.ca, correct.
Yep, there we go. So,
So
some,
yeah, it's been fun. It's been a learning experience. I always worked, with those products. I had a cosmetic surgery center in Kingston and one in Belleville for a while. So that was right before I moved to Toronto to transition. So that was exciting. So it's kind of interesting to be on this part, like the side of manufacturing part of it now. And, learning all Health Canada's rules and regulations and going through that whole process. So it's been quite exciting, and it's been a great learning experience and a lot of fun.
well, from my experience when it comes to public health, it's been a bit of a challenge trying to stay up to speed and up to the changes for this stuff because I'm planning on doing a live drag show, and it's definitely going to we're meeting the public health standards here, if not exceeding them.
Yep,
And
yep.
it's always a challenge just trying to find out like all those because everything's changing right now. Specifically, I think you're kind of talking more like the stuff that's not necessarily changing that often, but like the public health stuff is just constantly in flux these days.
Constant, yeah.
Constantly, yeah. So you kind of talked about sometimes I forget. Like you and I, we we chat all the time. So I've heard
Hmm.
a lot of these stories before. But that story of the first show in the office, which was like a lovely little gay bar above the plaza,
Applause.
the long time ago.
Oh, of all
Uh,
places.
it's an institution here in Kingston, and it's interesting for you to say that the first drag show you had 20. Did you say 22 people?
22. So we had 22, yeah.
22
Yeah,
performers.
22 performers in the first show.
And how much
Yeah.
audience? Was it like 5 people?
No, the place was packed. There was probably, oh my God, in that first show, there was probably 50 or 60 people in the audience crammed in there. It was a small little space too, but it was packed. And then from there, we did numerous shows there, but they were always packed. Um, Drake, it kind of it changed Kingston a lot. You know, it brought out a lot of community that probably never really came out before. And I think the success of what was going on drag-wise also contributed to Robert at that time creating Club 477 and moving to a bigger space because he realized that the population was there and could fill it. And it did fill it. It filled it for years. Um, but yeah, drag really, it was an interesting time. And to be so accepted also was very interesting. We did a huge show in Confederation Basin in front of City Hall there.
Hmm.
So that was a small little fundraising event, so we thought. But by the end of once the show started and it was the middle of summer, we probably ended up with about 600 people. A lot of straight people and kids and families, the whole bit, just packed right in there watching the show. So it was a very interesting time. Lots of stuff was happening, but it was all fun. Like it wasn't there's no competitions, there was none of that kind of stuff. It was just a great time had by all.
Yeah, yeah, no, we still get quite the demand
Yep.
for live
Yeah.
shows. Well, maybe not so right now, but in years
Hmm.
past, I've done matinees where it was like all ages. Because we get requests sometimes. You're like, oh, is there an all ages something or other? Because some young teenager or even 10-year-old or something like that is like they've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race. They want to see a live drag
Yeah.
show sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we've had that in the past, pre-pandemic. And I remember just some of the kids, some of the parents are like, "Oh, my kid has a question for you," and the question is, they're like, "Oh, what's RuPaul like?" And I'm like,
Well, it's all gay, right? Everyone knows each other. You must know Bill who lives in Alaska, right?
Oh my goodness. Well, to me, it kind of reminded me of like kids asking someone dressed up like an elf for Christmas or something, how's Santa? And
Exactly.
I was like, oh, okay,
Exactly.
well, let's
Yeah.
just. I'm like, well, we're not going to give the truth here.
You smile and just say he's wonderful or
And
she's
if there's any
wonderful.
children, yes, watching, yes, Santa's great, and RuPaul's great. It's all good.
Absolutely.
It's all good. Oh my goodness sakes. But it's interesting too that you say that the audience, because I always remembered when I first started off in the early 2000s, like the drag scene here was really all about the gay community, really, right? The LGBT kind of
Hmm.
community and providing space for them and them coming out, that sort of things. And now later in my career, I'm getting a ton more people who are not gay, lesbian, or whatever.
Yep.
There's a lot of straight women bringing out their husbands and their boyfriends and stuff. They just want a night out, sort of thing, and they enjoy it.
Yeah, I think what it was in the 80s and early 90s, I mean, with all of the Queen students, it just became something different, and it was something that you weren't seeing anywhere mainstream. I mean, RuPaul, all of that didn't exist at that time. So it was totally different. It was something different for them to come and see. And by that point, the shows were getting pretty polished. We had amazing DJs who really were on the ball, and lighting was amazing, and stages setups were amazing. So the whole experience was just incredible for that time. And when I look back now, it's funny when I go to some bars now and I see a drag show and I think, it's kind of sad. Like, we were doing better than that, you know, 25, 30 years ago. So it's kind of interesting. Like, it's interesting now to look back because you think like, wow, like we were way ahead of our time at that point. And then it kind of died out in Kingston. I mean, I had left and, other people kind of moved on. And there for a while, there wasn't a lot of drag stuff happening.
Okay.
And then you came along, which kind of changed all of that again and sort of opened up the door of, you know,
Well, it's a
let's
bit
bring this back.
cyclical because even when I was doing it, and then come like I don't know, like 2008, let's just say, or something,
Hmm.
it was just me.
Hmm.
Because you had
Hmm.
moved off to
Yeah.
Toronto,
Yeah.
other queens had moved off to other
You came
places.
in kind of when we were kind of ending everything. Um, you sort of came in on the tail end of it, which was perfect timing because then, of course, you went on to keep it going in Kingston and keep the art form alive there. But I don't think if you would have came along, I don't think it would have continued.
Well, actually, you might be right about that.
I honestly believe that. I don't think it would because the people that were still that did drag, that were still living in Kingston, were no longer doing it. Um, and when you came along, you were it for quite a while before other people joined, and started doing shows with you and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of times. So yeah, I was the last kind of performing queen here in town for quite a few years, and thank
Yep.
you those artists who would hire me to do like cabaret shows in living rooms and stuff like that. So thank you so much for doing that.
It makes a difference.
I think I had maybe 2 or 3 paid gigs a year at that point, and
And then for a while too, you were also up against the fact that Kingston didn't have a bar for the longest time either, right? There was no space for you to actually go bring other queens in and do big shows and stuff like that. That the space just didn't exist for that at that time either.
space is a really interesting topic to talk about because sorry, we're completely off script from my all my list of questions. But let's talk about space, shall we? Because quite often drag shows are done at let's say gay bars, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And that was true here in Kingston too. But then when you
Hmm.
lost the gay bars in town here, it's a bit of a struggle and trying to find that space sort of thing. So, can you talk about maybe some of your experiences doing shows here in Kingston, like outside of it? Was it strictly just at Robert's Club Vogue?
Well, at one point, Kingston had what, three bars, I guess. So there was Robert's, well, it was Club 477 originally, and then it became Robert's Club Vogue, or was it the other way
Yeah,
around?
the
I
other
can't
way around here.
remember.
Other way.
The other way around, yeah. Yeah, Robert's Club Vogue, then he got sued for using the word Vogue by Madonna's people, so had to change it to 477, that's what it was. And then I can't even remember the other, what was the one out? Um, I don't even remember the name of it.
Are we talking about Wally's?
Wally's, that was it. And then Wally's sort of came into town. That was huge competition for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trashateria was also at that time doing some gay nights. So there was a few shows at Trashateria, a couple at least. Um, yeah, so at one point there were kind of some options, but kind of not, because Wally's wasn't really a drag kind of club. Um, but they did do a few shows there. So there was lots of space, but I mean, originally, no. I mean, there was the office and then just 477, that was it. Um,
Yeah.
I don't remember, yeah, I don't remember being, other than the trash once in a while, there wasn't really any other spaces. Grey House, things like that still existed. I'm sure they still do. But yeah, they weren't really conducive for a show type of place, not
I,
at all.
I sometimes forget. Yeah, Grey House. Yeah, you weren't doing shows there, but it was great to have
John
a space like that.
John
Yeah.
Deutsch Center, I think one time there was a show there for Pride, I think it was.
Well, I'm just thinking when we lost all the gay bars, sort of thing, those
Hmm.
spaces, we struggle. I still struggle to this day for
And it always
spaces.
amazes me. I really I don't understand how Kingston does not have a gay club. It has a huge gay population. It has a huge gay population with money. Um, so I don't understand why somebody hasn't picked that up. I mean, if I ever win the lottery, I think I would open a gay bar in Kingston because the clientele is certainly there, and there's fabulous spaces that could be used. Um, I don't understand why Kingston never
Well,
kept its bar
I
going.
will thank the grad club because when we lost all those spaces, the grad club was quite a popular venue. They would take for gay dances and then drag shows and
Hmm.
stuff like that
Hmm.
too. So but yeah, and I've had other spaces here in Kingston, but it's always been a struggle because a lot of spaces weren't willing to take that kind of um, take that risk, I suppose, sort of thing of doing live kind of entertainment like that. They would just want to kind of stick to their live music or whatnot. And now, even live music is struggling to find homes in downtown Kingston now too.
Which is
So,
so odd. I mean, I find that very odd.
especially right now in COVID, right, in the COVID
Well,
era
during
with live
COVID, sure, I
shows,
understand
yeah.
that, but
But
yeah, I don't
one
know.
of these days, we'll get back to live shows. We'll get back to live shows.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I think it's
Exactly.
going to be a while. I think everyone's probably looking at next fall at least before things kind of return to any sense of normalcy. So I think we've got a long way ahead of all of us.
All right, so we've talked about the past. I'm going to quickly jump into upcoming events. So if you could stick with me here, Jas.
All right.
All right, so upcoming events. We're going to go to outin.ca, outin.ca for your source for LGBT events going on in and around Kingston. So this Saturday, oh my goodness sakes, we have Beers for Queers, which is at Monty's at the Tir na Nog. So that you can reserve a table ahead of time for that. We also have around the world, a drag show in person, live. Lots of tickets still available on dragshow.ca. So buy your tickets on dragshow.ca. It's this Saturday, the 14th. It's at the Renaissance Lower Salon. Tickets again on dragshow.ca, featuring Lilith Kane, Vinnie Von Vinci, Drag King, Peaches, and myself. What other things are coming? Oh, we have Gender Talk on Tuesday at 5 p.m. here on CFRC 101.9 FM. And then on the 19th, Thursday the 19th at 4 p.m., there's Queer Prom Radio Show here on CFRC 101.9 FM. So yeah, buy tickets to Around the World. Buy tickets to Around the World. Drag show.
Plug it, girl. Plug it.
Dragshow.ca. Buy some tickets. I am not canceling this show. I am not canceling it. So buy now. Did I mention ticket sales are not so good? Buy tickets now. But yeah, I also want to take this moment as well. So a lot of the
don't forget the Kingston Pride Extravaganza at Queen West Campus.
Oh yeah, well, so we're talking about the history events. Yeah, yeah. Of course, we've had events at other venues, but yeah. So thank you, West Campus, for having us. But I want to take this moment to hashtag 60 and 60. So I am fundraising for Rainbow Railroad. And also I have a team of other drag performers here in Kingston who are fundraising as well. So Rowena Way and Miss Peaches are joining me there too. Maybe a few others will join me as well. So check out our online page here. So the team page is donate.rainbowrailroad.org/fabulous. Or you can donate directly to me through the fundraising page, donate.rainbowrailroad.org/Tyffanie, Tyffanie. So yeah. And also right now, it is the CFRC funding drive. So if you want to donate to CFRC to keep this fabulous program and other fabulous programming live on the radio waves, please donate generously to cfrc.ca/donate now. cfrc.ca/donate now. But yeah, so let's talk a bit about the future then, because I'd like to get some of your insights onto this. So with COVID and the challenges that we do, some queens started going online. Some queens started doing merchandise, for instance, to keep getting the revenue kind of coming in. So from your perspective, what do you think drag in the future might be?
I think it's going to return to normal. I mean, the normal shows, the normal all of that. I think in the meantime, online seems to be the only route that people really have. I know in Toronto with bars being closed, shows aren't happening at all. Kingston's lucky you have some spaces, and that you can still like do a show in. But I think eventually it's going to return completely 100% back to normal. But in the meantime, people just don't have a lot of choices. So online drag shows, I'm not sure how well they're doing for most people. I think some are doing okay, but I think it's still a struggle for everyone. So it's going to be interesting. Merch is certainly going to be a part of everyone's life for the next little while. I think if you can do any business online at this point, you've got it made. But
yeah, it's getting out to the online business, like the merchandise and stuff. I'm not. I remember trying to do a T-shirt like 15 years ago or something like that, trying to sell a T-shirt online.
I spent the night with Jas Morgan. That was my T-shirt years ago.
But yeah, I wasn't selling it 15 years ago. But maybe today, if we started trying to sell T-shirts today, maybe. But if anyone's going to spend any money, please spend it for Rainbow Railroad, which saves LGBTQI lives around the world, getting them out of immediate harm into safe spaces. So, Jas, I think we're coming to that time here.
Time to say goodbye, girl.
Time to say goodbye. You know, I really do appreciate you spending some time here with me and telling me a little bit about my history, my histoire.
Her herstory.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Kingston's history is quite amazing. There's a lot. Somebody should be recording all this. There's tons and tons of stuff
yeah, the
that was
drag,
happening back in those days.
the drag and queer histories and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, you did have a small little documentary. I'm just going to take 5 seconds and talk.
Oh yeah, Kingston's Burning. Yeah,
Kingston
Kingston's
is
Burning.
burning. Yeah, and that was for local TV too.
Yeah, James Fowler was the producer of that. It was cable TV there. He had produced it through them. Yeah, that's worth checking out. I think everyone in Kingston's probably seen that by now. It's played numerous times. But yeah, that was a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, and
That's-
there we go. All right. So where can so you are an online business person, making some fabulous products that I just love. I love the serums. So where can
Skincare, bath, and body. Yes. JasMorgan.ca. 20% off right now till the end of November. So get on it. Save yourself some money.
perfect for a Christmas present? And that's
Yeah.
JAS.
So we're kind of aiming for a higher end product, and that's definitely what it is. We've searched the world to find the best ingredients and products that we can put together with no hype whatsoever. So we're trying to keep our pricing reasonable, but competitively priced with the big boys.
And that's at jasmorgan.ca. So
.ca.
JASMORGAN.ca. All right, Mama. I love you. Mwah.
Love you more, Pumpkin. Take care.
All right, and sweet peas.
Stay well. Stay safe.
Stay well. Stay safe, everyone.
Goodbye, Kingston.
Bye-bye.